Obviously, our largest response during the last quarter was the freeze response around Christmas. Unprecedented event. And as the team director said, he's been in his position there for about 2 years. He said if I had money for every time we've heard the word unprecedented in the last 2 years, we'd be rich. And that echoes true across the state and the country. Our responses to that responded out to a house fire, single digits just because of the temperature, to get the individual out of the environment, coordinated with the Red Cross with him to get him into shelter. Luckily, he had family that lived there close, and we were able to coordinate with the Red Cross to help him out. We had several schools that received significant damage during that time across the county. We coordinated with the school system and the fire responders to, one, get there and get the water cut off to prevent further damage, and then two, if there was any public assistance available through the state or federal government. And there was not any assistance that would apply because our deductible was low to the point it wasn't worth going after just the deductible. That's the only part that we would have been able to claim, so we wouldn't have met our county threshold just with the deductible the school system has, even though they had thousands of dollars of damage during that. It was insured damages. The rolling blackouts that we experienced during that time is unlike anything that I've ever experienced as an emergency responder. Unlike anything I thought anyone in Holston Electric would ever have imagined we would experience as well. When you're cutting people's power off and it's 1 degree outside, that's a life-threatening environment, especially when you're throwing power back to it, you're surging heat pumps. That honestly was the most worried I've ever been about losing a large number of citizens within the county. The way that cartelment system worked, and if you guys would like a further report from Holston Electric or any of our other electric providers, I'm more than willing to do that. The way that cartelment plan works is they have multiple levels, and basically when you get to level 40, industry is cut off. And at level 50, it moves into residential, like we were having rolling blackouts for all residential customers inside of every power grid's customer base. At level 60, to my understanding, TEA starts determining who's cut off. And that doesn't mean within your local utility, they start determining which utilities are disconnected. And we were one step away from that happening. Obviously, the first thing coming to my mind is, where do we shelter this many people that we have a backup heat source? I wasn't able to identify one at all throughout the county. Our school gymnasiums have natural gas heat, but you would have to coordinate. Hopefully you'd stay at level 50 and can coordinate to keep those sites turned on as far as electricity to circulate that warm air. But if you ended up at level 60 and those schools ended up disconnected, I was able to identify nowhere that would be able to shelter those individuals without heat. Another thing, I started researching the Texas power grid disaster during this with the mindset of saving individuals within our county with things that may have went wrong in Texas during that disaster. We didn't get to that level here, but another problem we ran into in Texas, as the natural gas power plants started falling offline, they started a cartelment of natural gas as well. We may never get into that here, but I never even knew that was a possibility. But that's a chain reaction event that, to my understanding from the research, starts happening after the cartelment of electric. They can also start cartelling natural gas as well. Be willing to bet probably 99% of our citizens have heat either by electric or natural gas. Congresswoman was here this morning. Me and the mayor had these discussions with her as well. It's a nationwide issue, but it's a huge issue. Our cartelment plan was also designed more for a summer peak, which is what we'd experienced in the past as far as the local utilities here, which this coming winter time. So disconnecting customers for an extended period was not an option during this. This is why you see the smaller amounts of time as far as the blackout. We won't stay on that any longer, but that is a huge concern as far as me as your emergency management director and a nation and a regional problem. And I'll update you, as I'm sure this isn't going to be the first time this comes up. I'll update you as we go to seminars and stuff and learn how that's being expected to be handled on a national level. The mayor coordinated with some groups as opening up a shelter during that time. We supplied some cots. Luckily, we had those here in-house. Those were purchased to keep in-house just for if we needed them and no one was able to come assist us, and we were able to deploy those during that, and that worked out well. During that time, that was at East Rogersville Church, and we appreciate, I know there was more groups involved in that. We appreciate each of those that responded out to help during that time. TVA had a water supply issue that their leaders in Knoxville reached out to us to help mitigate. That plant was a couple hours from losing the ability to be able to produce electricity. They were requesting 1 million gallons of water every 24 hours. That would be a stretch for us to supply, but we're moving resources in order to be able to supply that, and coming up with a plan on how we can keep that water need fulfilled. Luckily, they were able to get their pumps warmed back up and restarted while we were there, and canceled everything out. But without doubt, if we had to continue that, plus a freeze response, we would have had to activate our EUC, which is at our 911 center. There's some needs that I identified that we could probably enhance there for if that scenario ever comes about again to make stronger, and I'll relay those to again this committee and budget in the future. Had a meeting with Red Cross, the American Red Cross. After that, the American Red Cross doesn't get involved in any pre-disaster sheltering, and the reason is, like during a storm, they don't want to move a large volume of people into a path of a storm that they can not predict where it's going to hit. So that's the reason they don't get involved in pre-storm. They did supply us with some supplies for that warming station, and we're appreciative of that. The statistic that I come away from that meeting with that was mind-blowing: every 21 days in the United States last year, there was $1 billion disaster. One day that'll knock on our door. That's unreal to think of, but it's every 21 days $1 billion disaster last year. And I know several of those large disasters were inside the state of Tennessee, especially Middle Tennessee.